countries that exist, but not everyone sees. On the map we grow up studying in school, everything looks perfectly organized. Countries, flags, neat borders, but in the real world, nothing is that simple. There are territories that operate like countries, with governments, armies, and entire populations, yet they simply aren't recognized by everyone. Today, we're stepping into one of the least discussed corners of global history, places that exist for some but are ignored by others. This isn't a lesson, it's not a documentary, it's just a guided walk to one of the most curious subjects in international politics. Israel and Palestine, two peoples, one land. Let's begin with one of the most well-known and emotionally charged conflicts in the world. Israel officially emerged in 1948 and has been a member of the UN ever since. Even so, several countries still refuse to recognize it. Decades of wars, shifting borders, and deep historical rivalries mean that the very existence of Israel is, for some, still a point of debate. On the other side, there is Palestine that is recognized by a large portion of the world and holds the status of observer state at the UN, but it still isn't universally accepted. Both share the same land, both claim the same territory, and that's why each one lives under the strange, limited form of recognition. The two Koreas, one peninsula, two realities. If there's a place where the past continues shaping the present every single day, it's the Korean Peninsula. North Korea and South Korea both insist they are the rightful government of the entire region. The North doesn't recognize the South. The South doesn't recognize the North. And countries like Japan refuse to officially recognize the North as well. It's as if one single story had been split into two completely different chapters, running in opposite directions. Cyprus, an island divided down the middle. In the Mediterranean lies Cyprus, a small island that carries a conflict far larger than its size. The Republic of Cyprus is acknowledged by most of the world, but the northern section declared independence in 1983 and is recognized by only one country, Turkey. Between the two sides, a United Nations buffer zone slicing across the island like a visible scar. China and Taiwan, two versions of the same story. The fall of the old Chinese Empire created an unusual situation. Two governments, two systems, and a quiet, ongoing struggle for legitimacy. Mainland China is recognized almost universally. Taiwan, however, despite its strong economy, independent government, and vibrant democracy, receives official recognition from only a few nations. Still, many countries maintain unofficial relations, as if they were saying, "You exist, but I can't publicly admit it." Western Sahara, a country in the desert between exile and dispute. Deep in the vast African desert lies Western Sahara. The territory is claimed by the Polisario Front, yet most of it is controlled by Morocco. There's a government in exile, there's a flag. There are divided cities and displaced communities. But the international recognition is fragmented, and its final status remains unresolved to this day. Kosovo, independent, but not for everyone. Kosovo declared independence in 2008. Most Western countries recognize it, but universal recognition is far from reality. Serbia still considers Kosovo part of its territory, and several nations choose not to recognize it in order to avoid encouraging separatist movements within their own borders. Recognized by many, ignored by others. Abkhazia and South Ossetia, children of the Soviet collapse. When the Soviet Union dissolved, several regions suddenly had to decide who they were and who they wanted to be. Abkhazia and South Ossetia both declared independence from Georgia. Both endured wars, and both are officially recognized by only a handful of nations, with Russia being the main one. To Georgia, these aren't independent republics. They're occupied territories. Armenia, recognized by almost everyone, Armenia, a country with thousands of years of history, carries a peculiar diplomatic detail. It is recognized by nearly the entire world, except for one country, Pakistan. The reason goes back to the long-standing Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict. It's a reminder of how regional alliances can shape global recognition, even for ancient states. Artsakh, a country that existed until it didn't. Artsakh, also known as Nagorno-Karabakh, declared independence in 1991 and very few countries ever recognized it. The region, mostly Armenian, operated as a de facto independent state for decades. But in recent years, after military offensives, its government collapsed. It stands as a rare example of a country that emerged, survived, and later disappeared from the map. Transnistria, the last Soviet shadow. In Moldova lies a sliver of land that looks frozen in another era. Transnistria. It declared independence in 1990, has its own flag, its own institutions, and even Soviet symbols preserved to this day. In practice, it works like an unofficial country, backed militarily by Russia, but recognized by no one, a place that exists for those who live there and almost no one else. Somaliland, a fully functioning country without recognition, and in the Horn of Africa sits Somaliland, a territory that checks every box of statehood. It has a government, currency, elections, borders, and internal governance. But not a single country in the world officially recognizes it. Yet its population lives day to day as if Somaliland were completely sovereign, because to them, it is, in the end. These territories reveal that the world is far more complex than a neatly colored map. Behind every border lie untold stories, contested identities, and nations suspended somewhere between recognition and forgetfulness. This is not a definitive list. It's not an in-depth analysis. It's simply a journey behind the curtain of global politics. So, tell me, which one of these stories had you never heard before?